watching this. If you don't know me, I'm Sarah. This is Cancer Capricorn guidance. I haven't posted a video in a hot minute. I mean, it's only been a couple months, but before that, it's been a long while. I've definitely fallen out of the loop of posting regularly across all my platforms, really. But I've been feeling really tapped in and inspired lately, and that's usually when I come back to this shit and sit down to actually make a video or put something online. But I've been feeling really good. I've been feeling really spiritually tapped in. I'm a Cancer 9th house, Sun and Mars, so I feel like in the Cancer season when a lot of the smaller planets, but a lot of the personal planets make transits to my 9th house, I get very inspired and very I feel very enlightened. I feel a lot of that energy, and I love having transits to my 9th house. I love when I feel like my mind is expanding. I've been like doing a lot of reading and researching and digging, and it's always fun to look at some of the things that are happening in your natal chart in terms of transits. It's always a great way to look at some of the energies that you're experiencing right now. If you're interested in learning about some of that in regards to your chart and some of the transits that are occurring in regards to your chart and how it's affecting you in your natal chart and some of the energies you're experiencing, you want to learn about some of that, you should DM me or email me for a reading. You can find my email in my description box. I really love sitting down with people, having a conversation, really diving into your chart, talking about some of the current transits that are happening, getting an idea of what your life and your experiences is like and how that relates to your birth chart and some of the things I see in it. If you're interested in something like that, please reach out to me via email and we can set something up. But I really wanted to sit down and talk about some of the energies for this week. So we started off the week. Today is August 2nd to Tuesday. It's 2022. Yesterday, August 1st, well, July 31st and August 1st, we had some really intense peaking energy. We had a pretty rare astrological transit that occurred. Mars, the North Node, and Uranus linked up in Taurus at 18 degrees. A lot of people probably felt that energy pretty heavily. If you know where Taurus is in your chart in regards to your houses, you probably experienced a lot of that intense energy in that house of your chart. And Taurus energy collectively, I've been seeing a lot about agriculture, food, resources, money. There's been a lot of focus on those things on the global scale, on the collective scale, and we definitely felt a peaking of that energy on the 31st of July, the 1st of August, and that energy really did draw a lot of attention to, you know, like I said, personally, the area of your chart where Taurus falls, the house in which Taurus falls for you. But that energy really brought together the intensity, the frustration, but the forward drive that Mars wants to make. It met with the equally chaotic and uncontrollable, unpredictable Uranus. And it met also with the North Node, which has been, you know, transiting through Taurus for some time now. The North Node representing our path forward, kind of karmic energy that we need to learn from and heal from in order to move forward. So, you know, there's been kind of a lot of buildup in that Taurus energy through collectively, we've probably been seeing a lot of that. And we've seen a lot of shakeups, Uranus. We've seen a lot of destruction in things like agriculture, money, the breaking down of things. The really fast nature of Mars and Uranus combined, they really intensify each other. There's a lot of quickness, there's a lot of things happening really quickly and rapidly, and things that feel like they're falling apart, falling into different places. Things are kind of unpredictable. That Uranus energy brings a lot of rebellion, coming up with new ways to do these things, kind of having to come up with new ways to do these things quickly, like we're running out of time kind of way. We've been seeing an acceleration of that. There's just an energy of acceleration in that area. And with the North Node there, it's really about where are we headed? What direction are we moving and going forward? Where are we headed with this stuff? You know, there's a lot of destruction happening with agriculture and food and money and resources, and it's like, are we pivoting into something else? Are we coming up with a different way to do these things? Are these things gonna last? Are they gonna be predictable? Taurus is that predictable, fixed energy, and Mars and Uranus do not do well in a sign like Taurus. They don't like being somewhere like that. It brings a lot of shakeups to things that we typically want to rely on and find stability in, and can come to really rely on and predict for our well-being, for our nurturance, for our sustenance as humans and as like people and communities and societies, and the things that we've come to rely on, we're seeing a lot of shakeups and change-ups in those things collectively. And then again, look at your houses for where Taurus falls. You're probably experiencing a lot of those shakeups and change-ups and a lot of that chaos in that area of your life. Also, Venus is really active this week, so despite all that Mars and Uranus chaotic energy meeting in Taurus, Venus comes in and it sextiles all these things at 18 degrees to bring in a bit of softness. Venus in Cancer. Venus in Cancer wants to reconnect with yourself, spend some time alone, spend some time with your emotions, sit with your emotions, get some sleep, and really wants to connect with others as well through, emotional exchanges, emotional vulnerability, talking about some of our feelings during this really chaotic time that could be really grounding for us. Going to certain bodies of water. I know Cancer is often associated with water, obviously, but Cancer is often associated with going to bodies of water as a cleansing method, as something that can be spiritually and emotionally cleansing. But that energy of sextiling up with all the planets that are sitting in Mars at 18, or sitting in Taurus at 18 degrees right now, Venus in Cancer really brings that softness and that way that we can come back to ourselves, come back to our close relationships, come back to the things that make us feel emotionally safe and grounded despite some of the instability we were feeling on the outside on a more collective level. There's an energy of like letting yourself feel what you need to feel. It's so cliche, but it's so true. And really letting yourself feel what you're feeling and being honest with yourself and being gentle with yourself within that too. Like letting yourself just be what you are and feel what you are. It sounds so simple, but it can be really difficult to actually sit down and do that. Letting yourself be who you are through just feeling what you feel and giving others that same grace and generosity to be able to do the same thing and nurturing each other in that space where you're both being honest and vulnerable. Venus is going to be linking up with Neptune in the this week. They're going to be trining. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, but Venus in Cancer trine Neptune. It can be a very dreamy, ethereal, energy. It can be very spiritual. It can be very lost in the sauce of our own minds, our own subconscious, our own kind of spiritual realm. It really reminds me of the 12th house for some reason. But I feel like this energy is really good for the dreaming bigger, to really think outside of, letting your mind kind of wander, thinking outside of the bounds of reality, letting yourself kind of float into that mystical, spiritual, emotional space where you can kind of float around in that watery energy. What are you envisioning? What is really all the realms of possibilities? We often get stuck in these very Taurian, grounding, like in real life reality boundaries, but Venus and Neptune kind of invite us and encourage us to step into that more ethereal space where there are less boundaries and our minds can kind of wander and spill out in every direction. Be open to learning and exploring new ideas, exploring new parts of your subconscious. Like I said, with that Venus in Cancer, you want to sit with yourself this week. You may have a nudge and a pulling to sit with yourself, sit with your emotions, let your mind wander. Meditation might be a really good thing for a lot of people this week. If it's something you've never done, if it's something you haven't sat down to do in a long time, this would be a really good time to kind of not learn how to do that, but try it out. If you've never tried it and you're scared to, try it out. Some of the simpler concepts of things like meditation are really tough for people who don't let themselves step into that world of like, I'm gonna let my mind wander and whatever comes. I'm gonna sit here and sit with my emotions. Whatever emotion comes up is what comes up. I don't have to assign a narrative to it. I don't have to analyze it. I'm just gonna let it happen. Because when we let our minds wander outside of those bounds, it can help us like break down some of the obstacles and barriers that we're feeling in real life in our actual reality. So when we let our mind wander without those boundaries, it gives us new ideas and it can remove some mental obstacles that help us navigate better the actual real life obstacles that we're experiencing in our reality. Because to be honest, there is a lot of physical limitation and obstacle that we are probably experiencing at this time, especially when Mars ends up squaring Saturn towards the end of the week. So Saturn's been making its way through Aquarius for a while now. Saturn is currently retrograde. It's going to be retrograde until October. Saturn retrograde is interesting. I think it's a good time to kind of revisit a lot of these Saturn through Aquarius themes that we've been experiencing when it comes to community, progress, individualism, technological development, uniqueness, standing out, new ideas, pragmatism, utilitarianism. A lot of these things we've been experiencing on a collective level have been kind of central to the Saturn through Aquarius transit. And with this retrograde, it's kind of going to make us revisit a lot of that. Like, have we learned our lessons in that area of life? If you want to look at it from a personal perspective, definitely look at where Aquarius falls in your houses. And that will be the area of life in which you kind of maybe need to revisit some of these things. Maybe you're feeling stuck in that area of your life, and Saturn is saying, hey, I'm making you look at these things. What is it about this that you still need to look at, fix, tweak, look at a little deeper, a lesson that you still haven't really truly solidified and moved on from, and really internalized to take the lessons from so that it can make you stronger and wiser? What have you been not fully forming as an idea, as a lesson? Because this Mars square Saturn is really gonna bring up any frustrations that you've been feeling, any of those physical obstacles. They may be coming up during this transit. It's really gonna show you what is in your way, and you know, it might be you. I don't mean that in a mean way. We are our own enemies so much of the time. We really are. And this Mars square Saturn may be making you feel really frustrated with yourself, feeling like, I am in my way, I am my own obstacles. What mental obstacles are blocking me from moving towards the thing that I want or the life that I desire? What mental obstacles or obstacles within myself are blocking me from really stepping forward into this thing that I want, or really truly learning this lesson so that I feel like I can move up and mature and move on from this, really learn from this, heal from this, what have you. I feel like this Mars square Saturn is going to bring up any ways that you have been maybe self-sabotaging or blocking yourself, or not seeing how you're in your own way. I think it's going to be kind of in your face. This transit is going to bring that up, especially with that Mars North Node Uranus conjunction. I feel like it really for a lot of people is like, or was and is going to bring up these themes of like, oh, that's what I want, and that's the path that it's going to take me on, and like, that's the path that I want to be on, and this is where my heart is pulling me, this is what I desire, this is what's good for me, this is what's going to make me feel good and whole. That's where I need to go. That's what I want. But why does it feel like I can't get there? Why do I feel so frustrated? What's blocking me? Why do I still feel so blocked? Why do I still feel like I've been trying to take these steps, and really all this time I wanted that and I needed that and I want to be on this path, but I've been telling myself I wanted this, and so I took this path, and now I have to readjust and realign and redirect myself. I need to course correct. I need to take a few steps back and then a few steps in a different direction. I feel like this energy of like Mars and all this energy in Taurus squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius, also with some of the things that have in Leo, some of the planets in Leo that have been hitting the oppositions to Saturn in Aquarius, and some of the squares to all the things moving through Uranus or moving through Taurus. In my mind, it makes sense. The words aren't always there. The square, the 90 degrees, the 180 degrees. A lot of that has been really frustrating, and all those things squaring off really bring up those tense energies. Those squares really bring about like a contradicting of ideas, of behaviors and actions. You may be feeling like your mind wants to go this way, but the universe is taking you this way, but your body is taking you that way. It's like we're feeling a lot of the frustrations of these things being kind of misaligned, and these desires kind of being not connected to each other. We may have this desire, we know we need this, and we know this is what will be the good thing or the right thing. Like, how do we bring those things together? I think the North Node, Uranus, Mars conjunction really said, scream to us. And if it hasn't, it's probably gonna continue to slowly show itself in different ways to you. Like, what is it that you do really want? What is it that's gonna be good for you? What's gonna feed your soul? Not just like what I want, the material thing that I want to get out of this, but like what path is actually supposed to be for you? What path are you actually supposed to be on? I feel like you're going to be pushed in that direction. You're going to be pushed more towards that path during this time. It may feel really scary and weird right now. The energy may feel very intense. Like you want one thing, but you're being pushed in a completely different direction. that happens in life. It really does. And a lot of these energies are very synchronistic of that. Um, and I feel like one way that's going to be really helpful with smaller transits this week that'll help combat some of that anxiety, frustration, tension, confusion is going to be Mercury moving into Virgo. So Mercury's moving into Virgo. Mercury is going to be going retrograde later in September in Libra, but this Mercury Virgo is such a good time to get real with yourself, be analytical, analyze the fuck out of your situation and your scenario. What are all the circumstances? What are your limitations? What are your obstacles? How can you get around them? Can you develop a really solid plan? Can you develop a really good methodology of how you're going to do this? What are your resources? Like, how can you pull them together? How can you call on other people? How do you want to conduct your research? All of these very Virgo things. How can we get to the root of it? How can we pick it apart? How can we purify it to really understand it? Understanding something from its most basic parts is such a good way to learn about something, and it's such the beauty of Virgo. It's like pulling something apart and looking at it from the most microscopic level to understand how that one part is a part of something whole, and that one part is important and how that makes the whole thing work. So it may feel like really frustrating, and like getting down to those details isn't useful or productive, or maybe even counterproductive, but creating a schedule for yourself, getting your money on track, getting a good sleep schedule, getting a good eating schedule, good eating habits, all those little things really add up and could really put you on the right course and put you in the right direction towards the bigger thing that you want. Like, it may feel so insignificant and minuscule to look at these details, but really analyzing those details and getting down to the nitty-gritty could be really, really helpful in structuring you and setting you up with a really good foundation. The same day that Mercury moves into Virgo is the same day that the moon moves into Scorpio, and so they actually sextile each other at 0 degrees of Virgo and Scorpio. And that's really cool because that 0 degrees just gives me such energy of like fresh, new, brand new, clean slate, fresh perspective. And Scorpio is similar to Virgo in the way that I look at them both as like analyzers. All the things I just described about Virgo Mercury, you know, Mercury being at home in the sign of Virgo, being that analytical, mercurial, communicative thing. But also Scorpio in a very different way. They go to the depths. They dig around for art through archives. They dig in the ground for the archaeology. Like, Scorpio's really like getting down to the deepness of things, getting into the depths of things. Like, how far down can we go? How far deep into the ocean can we go? How far into the ground can we go? And really like analyzing in a different way, in that they're looking at the clues, they're looking for the depths of something, they're looking for the underbelly of something to kind of reveal larger truths about the thing. And those two energies, that Scorpio energy and that Virgo energy together, Scorpio moon and Virgo Mercury, I think that's going to be a really nice way to analyze your current situation, to take those two energies to analyze your current situation, not just how do you think about it, but how do you feel about it with that moon Scorpio. And together, once you do all that analyzing, once you do all that digging, once you really get to the depths of it, to the root of it, to pick it apart and really understand it, that's when you can start to move in a different direction, because that in itself will give you a different perspective entirely. Now, do you think about it differently? Do you visualize it differently? Do you feel something differently about it? Now, what can you do with that information in order to move you in a different direction, in order to get around this obstacle that you feel with this Mars square Saturn, in order to finally solidify that lesson that you've been trying to kind of learn for yourself for months now, years now, since Saturn has been in Aquarius. I think that Saturn Aquarius is kind of like almost the center point of this. I feel very tapped into the Saturn cycles. I really love looking at Saturn cycles for larger collective energy shifts and paradigms that we kind of move through. And you know, Saturn moving into Aquarius at the beginning of 2020, I think February or March of 2020, the Saturn cycles, they're really important. But I think a lot of the obstacles and blocks that we're feeling during this Saturn retrograde and, you know, all this square with Taurus energy, those obstacles can be removed by Venus and Neptune tapping into our imagination, our creativity, our emotions, getting into that meditative state. And Mercury Virgo, Moon Scorpio, going deep into our psyche, going deep into what has brought us to this point? What's the path that I've taken this whole time, and what has gotten me here? Why is it that the one that I've been on isn't taking me to where I want to go? Am I actually moving towards where I want to go? Am I just impatient? Is there just an obstacle that makes me think that I'm not moving towards that thing, and it makes me think that I can't get to that thing, when really I need to remove that obstacle, and the thing is actually a lot closer and clearer than I thought it was? All things to think about this week. So that's some of the energy that's going to be in the air this week. That's some of the vibes you're probably going to be experiencing. Just wanted to talk about some of that, go over that. I do want to pull some cards. I was thinking about it, and I do want to do some energy read. I'm not sure if I should just do like a just one collective reading, or if I should like go sign by sign. What I often really like to do, I think I'm going to do this, is go by modalities, because the fixed signs have really been in the trenches lately. Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, you guys have really, especially if you have anything around 18 degrees, like 15 to 20 degrees, you guys have really been feeling all these hits from all the planets transiting through Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo right now. So I'll start with you guys, and then I'll go through the cardinal and, wow, I'm losing my train of thought. The cardinal and the mutable signs, but fixed signs, you guys have really been getting the go around lately. By the way, this is the Neon Moon deck. I forget who made it. I'll put it in my description box. It's really cool. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Okay, fixed signs. Energy for August 2nd to August 9th. August 2nd to August 9th. August 2nd to August 8th. I'm going to try to upload this as soon as possible. Messages for fixed signs. I want to keep that one. The rest, no, but that one, yes. The Six of Pentacles. I feel like you guys have really been tapping into, like, what can I give that doesn't make me feel like I'm giving everything away? And what can I get that doesn't make me feel like I still owe someone something? There's a lot of energy around taking and giving, like receiving and giving, and some of the struggle you may feel around that. I feel like a lot of you are waiting for some financial incomes, for something financial to come in for you. You're kind of feeling like, I put in the work, where's my reward, where's my benefit? I feel like a lot of you are feeling like a delay in finances. There's definitely something there with something not coming in the way you wanted it to, or at the speed in which you wanted it to, or you're waiting on some kind of money to come in. You're waiting on what you're owed. You're owed this. You're due for this. And I feel like you might have to bring it up. It may feel really uncomfortable to bring it up. Maybe someone owes you something and it feels like, am I allowed to talk about this? Am I allowed to bring this up? A little bit apprehensive because of the conflicts that might arise from bringing that up. Maybe some of the inequalities you've been feeling when it comes to money or sharing of some kind of resources. Feeling unable to start that conversation because of the fears surrounding what will happen when you bring that up. Let me just get one more. Feeling a little bit too energetically drained to approach that and have that conversation. Yeah, but knowing that you need to. The High Priestess in you knows what the situation is about. You know that it's deeper than just the fact that you weren't given something you're owed. It's more than just the fact that it feels a little unfair. It's deeper than that. I think it reveals to you a lot about how this person feels about you, the level of respect they have for you. It affects the way that you feel like these people or this person values you, the value that they have for you. Because it's putting you in a difficult position, and the fact that they don't see that, or maybe just don't care, is what is revealing to you that it reveals a lot about the relationship between you and whatever this person or party is, about this unfairness or inequality. Something to do with. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Fixed signs. Interesting, very interesting. Okay, let's move on to cardinal signs. I am really sweaty in here. Whew. It's been really, really hot everywhere, but unusually hot for the Northeast for sure. Northeast US. Okay, cardinal signs. Any messages for cardinal signs? Cardinal signs, you're feeling like you're finally conquering something or tackling something that makes you feel like good and successful. Maybe you finally feel like you're getting the recognition you deserve, or you feel like you finally reached some kind of milestone, but something still feels unfair to you. It's weird how this is just like the fixed reading right now. Something feels unbalanced, imbalanced, or unfair to you, like something's still not sitting right with you. Like you got the recognition, maybe you got the promotion, you're receiving the accolade or acclaim for something that you worked hard on or something that you did. You're receiving a lot of attention and praise right now, but something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel balanced. There's like a karmic debt, I want to say. There's a karmic debt that feels like, I'm almost getting imposter syndrome now, because it's the back of your mind that's saying like, is this fair though? Was I the right one to choose for this? Am I deserving of all this attention and praise? There's something to do with hung upness, feeling hung up on the past in some way, like a little bit afraid of success. Why did I just get that? It's almost like you're not ready to move on from the past of like, when I was put in these situations, there was something under the surface where it wasn't truly fair and I didn't truly deserve it, whether that's just the, insecurity talking or there was something really there. It's almost like a not being able to move on from that mentality and mindset of the past where you didn't believe in yourself, you didn't believe that you were worthy and capable of these things. And it comes from a place of feeling like, I do want things to be fair. I do want things to feel balanced, and when I move up, it feels like someone else has to move down. I feel like that's a very cardinal sign thing, especially Libra. I'm getting a lot of Libra energy from this. Libras, this is probably for you. There's this deep feeling of holding yourself back and self-sabotage for the sake of keeping the peace, keeping things fair, making sure everybody has something, but it's like it prevents you from being able to accept and give yourself credit for the things that you deserve credit for. You deserve the recognition for the thing that you did. You accomplished something. You're worthy of receiving the praise for that and the credit for that. And you're allowed to celebrate yourself and feel good about that. And it doesn't mean that other people aren't deserving of that too. It doesn't mean you are putting someone down in that process. It doesn't mean that someone has to be put down. And I know it's hard to believe that in a lot of the ways that our society is structured. But it's true, like you deserve this credit and this recognition. It doesn't have to take away from someone else's shine. You were allowed to step into that spotlight and accept that acclaim. I want to keep saying acclaim, even if it's not a big deal, but there's definitely a lot of pain and wounding surrounding some stuff from the past and not being able to move on from the past, where you did always feel like you had to like step down so that someone else could feel good about themselves, or like you were being told that it was not fair that you got something when really, truly you did work hard for it and it was fair. And you did deserve it. Ooh, there's one sticking upright. What was that? Oh, and the Page of Cups. Because there's a part of you deep down that you know that you're still learning, you're not perfect, and you don't want to be put up on that pedestal and be given that praise and acclaim and be made out to be this person who's amazing at this thing and is infallible and cannot possibly do no wrong. But no, you know that you're at the beginning of your journey. You know that you still have so much to learn, and emotionally you do feel that. You feel like creatively you still have so much more to go. You still have so much to tap into, and you don't want to be given credit too soon for work that you're doing now when you're still developing your craft. I think that that's a big thing for you, and it has a lot to do with some wounding from the past surrounding giving yourself credit and feeling like others didn't give you the credit you deserved. And now that you have it, it feels weird. And you're still learning and you're still developing, but you can let yourself have this moment, okay? All right, mutable signs. Beautiful signs. Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sag. All of a sudden I like can't hold the cards right. They're like not shuffling right. That was weird. Messages for mutable signs. The Magician. Hello, mutable energy. Hello, Virgo energy. Hello, manifestation energy. Hello, I had a plan. I'm working on my plan, and me making this plan is me manifesting the thing that I want. And it's gonna happen because I'm speaking it into existence. It's already real. It's already real. It's already a part of my reality, and with that, it will be even more a part of my reality. It's just in the future. It's just not right now. The Hangman in reverse. It's either gonna come from, or did come from, a place of I need a change of scenery. I need a new perspective. I need to change how I'm thinking about this. Like I said, that Virgo Mercury energy. How many different ways can I look at this, to look at it differently, to finally see it in a new way, see something new that I didn't see before, that can give me new information, that can help me switch direction, come up with something different, come up with a new method. How can I do this differently, more efficiently, to get me where I want to go, to make this manifestation part of my present reality? You either are coming to this realization that you need that change of perspective, change of scenery, or it's going to come to you really soon, like, oh shit, I need to change something about the way that I'm seeing this, or looking at this, or thinking about this. Page of Wands. You're ready to step into that creativity, and you're ready to learn something new. You're ready to apply the passion you have for, you want to look at this differently. You want to get a new perspective. So you're diving back in when it comes to creativity and passion and learning about the thing again, because it makes you feel good. It's almost like rediscovering the passion you have for something to reignite that thing that's going to keep you going on that path, to reignite that thing that's going to keep you learning about it. Because learning, to me, learning is the point. Learning is the journey, and the journey is what it's actually about. And so you wanting to, or you stepping back into that creative energy of like, I'm at the beginning. I'm ready to learn all there is to learn. You know, because when we get so entrenched in a certain path or skill or thing that we do, we get to a point where we feel like we know everything about it. We feel like we've mastered it. We feel like we've done all there is to do. We've tried everything. We've tried every way. We've gotten inspiration from all the different places. But it's possible to go back to the beginning, rediscover that joy and passion you have for the thing, find new inspirations, new ways to do something. Okay, let me give you an example. You're an artist. Any kind of creativity, any kind of artistry. You feel like you've heard it all. You're a musician. You feel like you've heard it all. You've heard all the different ways to write a song. You've heard all these different styles and genres of music. You've learned all these different ways to build a scale, build a melody, write a song, structure a song, create an arrangement. And you get a little bored. And then you realize you need to tap back into the passion of why you started making songs in the first place. Who inspired you in the first place when you were young? Who inspired you? Who brought you to life? Who ignited that within you? That desire to do the thing that you're doing now. Go find new inspirations. Go expose yourself to new kinds of music that you've never fucking listened to. Go learn about new time signatures that you've never worked with before. It's like stepping into all these new ways to look at something, to do something that will ignite your passion for it. I love this for you, mutable signs. This is really cool energy. And the Four of Pentacles. I feel like there's a part of you that's holding on really tightly to the old way that you were doing things. See how all these messages are connected? They're so fucking connected. You're holding on to old ways of doing things. You're very comfortable and safe and secure in the way that you have been doing things, in the ways that you have always written songs. What if you need to step out and do something new? What if you need to try a new method? I think there's a part of you that's holding on to that because it feels comfortable and safe, and maybe it's worked, and maybe it's brought you financial stability in some real way, in some real tangible way. But there's almost a fear and of stepping out of the comfort zone. Death reversed. There's a fear of letting go. There's a fear of moving on and trying something new, becoming something new. Oh. And the Queen of Swords in reverse. There's an indecisiveness too. There's a lack of trust in self. There's a lack of trust in self to try a new method, try a new medium, develop a new style, develop a new method, medium, style. There's a fear of letting go of the past and kind of being reborn into this new artist. You could become a completely new artist. And artist can mean a lot of different things. Like, you can be an artist of your craft. Like, let's say you build houses. Building a house is fucking artistry. I don't care what anybody else says. Like, that is artistry. Like, a chemist, that's artistry. You are literally creating new substances and finding new ways to combine different natural materials of the universe to try to figure out, like, why. That's artistry. Are you kidding me? And so there's definitely a need to become re-inspired, and with that, it's almost like a rebirth. With that death reverse, it's like a fear of getting to that other side and being that new person, being that new artist, finding those new inspirations, those new things that are going to get you going again and reignite your passion, but almost being like afraid of that. Because this new thing that you're trying to manifest, this magician energy, what you're trying to bring in, it requires you to do that exploration, to go to the other side, to try those new things. And maybe there is a fear of what you'll discover there, but there could be so much excitement. That Page of Wands wants that excitement. It wants that. And I think the Queen of Swords is just telling of the indecisiveness, the lack of trust in oneself, the lack of trust in the direction that you're going, and the lack of trust that what you do will be cool and good. And because even if it's a failure, you learn from it. You tried something new. You tried a new method instead of just doing the same old shit that you've always been doing. Because the same old shit that you've always been doing, maybe it's working right now, but it's not always going to work. And maybe it's not working anymore. So what are your options? Try something new. And make a decision. Don't be indecisive. Just do it. Just try it. You don't have to commit to it for life. Just try it. Okay, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching this. It felt really good to tap into this and sit down and do this. I haven't done this in a hot minute, like I said. But this always feels really good, tapping into this energy. And I really love, tapping into the collective and sharing messages with the collective. I've really been deep in my astrology studies for a little while now. I've been studying for years, but I feel like I've really dove in pretty deep the last 6 months or so. I really have been really focusing, and it's not even like like I was saying about Virgo Mercury, like creating this whole method and plan and fixing all these things about my schedule. Like, I've definitely been working on that, but like just the fact of like the passion has to be there in the first place. You can come up with a plan and an itinerary, and you can buy all the right things, and it's still not being there because the piece that's missing is the passion. You need the passion to do anything. If you don't give a shit about it, then what does it mean? I'm gonna leave y'all with that. So thank you for watching. I love anybody who watches this. Thank you so much for supporting in any way. Please like this, comment on this, ask me a question, say hi, send me an email if you want a reading. I would love to read your birth chart or give you a quick little tarot reading. Thank you for watching. Again, you can check out my description box and my bio and my page for my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that shit. I'm trying to post more. It's difficult because we live in a capitalist hellscape and I have to work. So yeah, if you want to support me, my PayPal link is down below too. So thank you so much for supporting. I love you. Goodbye.